Why women judge men before they even speak. Most men believe attraction begins with conversation. They think the first words out of their mouth determine whether a woman becomes interested. But by the time you've introduced yourself, her brain has already started forming an opinion. Not because women are unfair, and not because they're looking for reasons to reject you. It's because the human brain is designed to make fast decisions. Long before logic takes over, our minds begin asking silent questions. Is this person confident? Do they seem emotionally stable? Can they be trusted? Do they make me feel comfortable or uncomfortable? What's fascinating is that these judgments usually happen without conscious effort. They're not based on one single detail. They're based on patterns, small signals that come together to create an overall impression. This isn't about having perfect looks, or wearing expensive clothes, or memorizing clever pickup lines. It's about the quiet signals that reveal who you are before you've had the chance to explain yourself. Today, we're going to explore why women judge men before they even speak, the hidden psychological filters that shape first impressions, and why the most attractive men rarely try to impress anyone at all. Let's begin. Number 1. Her brain is looking for emotional safety. One of the first things the human brain looks for is safety. Not just physical safety, emotional safety. Does this person seem calm? Do they appear unpredictable? Do they look comfortable with themselves? Or do they seem restless, desperate, or emotionally reactive? Most of this happens below conscious awareness. People naturally feel drawn toward those who make them feel relaxed, and they become cautious around those who create unnecessary tension. That's why emotional stability is so attractive. Not because it's exciting, but because it feels safe. Number 2. She notices whether you need approval. Many men think confidence is about appearing important, but genuine confidence usually looks much quieter. A woman may notice whether a man constantly seeks attention, whether he tries too hard to impress everyone, whether he changes his personality depending on who's watching, or whether he simply seems comfortable being himself. People who constantly seek approval often communicate insecurity without realizing it. Meanwhile, a man who doesn't need constant validation sends a completely different signal. He appears emotionally grounded, and emotional security is naturally attractive. Number 3. She looks for consistency. The brain loves consistency. Imagine meeting someone who smiles, but seems tense, who speaks confidently, but constantly looks around for approval, who talks about self-respect, but allows people to disrespect him. Something feels off. You may not immediately know why, but your brain notices the inconsistency. Women experience this too. They often trust behavior more than words. When a man's actions match his attitude, he feels authentic. And authenticity builds trust far faster than performance ever can. Number 4. She pays attention to how other people respond to you. Here's something many men never consider. Women don't only observe you. They observe how the world responds to you. Do people seem relaxed around you? Do conversations flow naturally? Do you treat others respectfully? Do others seem comfortable in your presence? These small social cues provide information without anyone saying a word. It's a form of social proof, not in the sense of popularity, but in the sense of trust. People naturally notice how others experience you, and those observations quietly shape first impressions. So far, we've discovered that women aren't simply judging appearance. They're unconsciously looking for emotional safety, confidence without approval seeking, consistency between words and behavior, and the way you interact with the people around you. But the next psychological filters are even more revealing, because they explain why some men create attraction without trying, why authenticity is more powerful than performance, and why the strongest first impressions often come from the men who are least concerned with making one. Number 5. She can often sense when you're performing. One of the biggest mistakes many men make is trying too hard to appear attractive. They rehearse what they're going to say. They try to sound impressive. They force confidence. They constantly wonder, am I saying the right thing? Ironically, the harder someone tries to create attraction, the more unnatural they often become. Women don't have to identify exactly what's happening. They simply feel that something isn't authentic. Emotionally grounded men don't perform. They don't pretend to be someone they're not. They allow their personality to come through naturally. That authenticity creates trust. And trust is one of the foundations of attraction. Number 6. She notices how comfortable you are with uncertainty. Life is full of uncertainty, especially dating. Not every conversation will be perfect. Not every interaction will go exactly as planned. Some men become visibly uncomfortable the moment something unexpected happens. A brief silence, a delayed response, a disagreement. Immediately, they rush to fill the silence, seek reassurance, or over-explain themselves. Emotionally mature men stay relaxed. They don't panic because a conversation isn't perfect. They're comfortable allowing things to unfold naturally. That quiet confidence communicates emotional stability. And emotional stability is something people notice long before they can explain why. Number 7. She looks for signs of self-respect. Before anyone else respects you, they usually notice whether you respect yourself. Self-respect isn't about arrogance. It's about standards. How do you carry yourself? Do you seem willing to accept poor treatment just to gain approval? Do you constantly apologize for existing? Do you shrink yourself to make other people comfortable? Or do you remain polite while still valuing your own time, opinions, and boundaries? Women often notice these subtle signals because they reveal how a man sees himself. And people tend to treat you the way you teach them to treat you. Number 8. She pays attention to your emotional presence. There's a difference between being physically present and being emotionally present. Some men spend an entire conversation thinking about what to say next. Others are distracted by their phones or constantly scanning the room. Emotionally present men are different. They listen. They observe. They respond naturally. They make the other person feel like they're genuinely there. That kind of presence is rare. And because it's rare, it becomes memorable. People don't always remember every word you skoagitate, but they almost always remember how you made them feel. A surprising truth about first impressions. Here's something many people misunderstand. Women aren't looking for a perfect man. They're looking for patterns. No one expects perfection. Everyone gets nervous sometimes. Everyone has awkward moments. Everyone says the wrong thing occasionally. What matters is the overall pattern. Does this man seem emotionally secure? Does he appear genuine? Does he make people feel comfortable? Can he remain himself without trying to earn everyone's approval? Those patterns quietly shape attraction long before a relationship begins. We've now seen why women can sense when a man is performing, why comfort with uncertainty is attractive, why self-respect speaks before words, and why emotional presence leaves a lasting impression. But the final lessons may be the most important, because they reveal why trying to impress often backfires, why genuine confidence can't be faked, and why the men who make the strongest first impression are usually the ones who aren't trying to create one. Number 9. She's looking for who you really are. One of the biggest misconceptions about attraction is that women are looking for a perfect man. Most aren't. They're looking for an authentic one. Anyone can pretend for a few hours. Anyone can memorize the right words. Anyone can act confident. But eventually, the real person always appears. That's why many women pay close attention to the small moments. How do you treat strangers? How do you respond when something doesn't go your way? How do you behave when nobody is trying to impress anyone? Character quietly reveals itself through ordinary moments. And those moments often leave a stronger impression than any clever conversation. Number 10. She's asking if your words will match your actions. Trust doesn't begin after months of dating. It begins with small observations. Does this man seem reliable? Does he appear honest? Does he seem like someone who follows through? Women often understand that anyone can make promises. The difficult part is keeping them. That's why consistency is so attractive. A man whose actions repeatedly match his words creates confidence. Not because he's perfect, but because he's dependable. Dependability creates trust, and trust creates lasting attraction. Number 11. She's not looking for perfection. She's looking for stability. Many men believe they have to impress women by appearing flawless. They think they can never make mistakes, never feel nervous, never have awkward moments. But that's not how real attraction works. Confidence isn't the absence of imperfection. It's the ability to remain comfortable despite imperfection. Emotionally grounded men don't panic because of one awkward moment. They smile, move on, and stay relaxed. Ironically, that often makes them more attractive than someone desperately trying to appear perfect, because authenticity is easier to trust than perfection. Number 12. The first impression is only the beginning. First impressions matter, but they aren't the final decision. A strong first impression opens the door. Your character determines whether it stays open. Many men spend all their energy trying to impress someone during the first meeting. Emotionally intelligent men focus on something different. They focus on becoming the kind of man whose character consistently confirms that first impression. Because attraction isn't built in one moment. It's built through repeated experiences. Every conversation, every decision, and every action either strengthens trust or weakens it. The bigger lesson: women judge men before they speak for the same reason all human beings do. The brain is constantly searching for patterns, not to criticize, but to understand. It asks silent questions. Does this person seem emotionally safe? Can I trust them? Are they comfortable with themselves? Do their actions match who they appear to be? Those questions are rarely spoken out loud, but they're often answered long before a conversation becomes meaningful. Final message. If there's one thing to remember from this video, it's this. The strongest first impression isn't created by trying harder. It's created by becoming stronger. You don't need the perfect opening line. You don't need to impress everyone you meet. And you don't need to become someone you're not. Instead, build emotional stability. Develop self-respect. Become comfortable with yourself. Treat people well. Live according to your values. Because those qualities naturally show themselves before you ever speak. And when they do, women don't just notice them. They remember them. The men who leave the strongest first impressions are rarely the ones trying to look impressive. They're the ones whose confidence, character, and emotional stability speak long before their words ever do. Click the subscribe button, like, share, and follow for more.